Bambi's twisted tails, Dexter's laboratory, the red door. The house looked normal. Too normal. White picket fence, trimmed hedges, mom in pearls with a pie cooling on the sill, dad whistling on the lawn. The kind of postcard shit you put on a cereal box. But every night when the neighborhood tucked in, lights dim, dogs curled up on porches, one window stayed lit. The basement. Down the stairs behind the furnace, past the smell of mildew and detergent, sat a door. Not wood, not metal. Red, like it was painted with something that never dried. It pulsed, faint, like a vein. And if you pressed your ear to it, you didn't hear the house. You heard hums, whispers, clicks like insect legs on glass. That was Dexter's laboratory. And Dexter, the little prick, he wasn't playing mad scientist with Legos. Nah, he was a 5-foot warlock in a lab coat, glasses thick as the bulletproof glass he welded into his walls. He muttered formulas like prayers, ate cold, hot pockets for communion, and every night he pushed deeper, not into chemistry or physics, into reality itself. His lab wasn't machines and toys, it was a fucking cathedral. Fluorescent lights flickered like votive candles, steel towers whined with power. Tubes hissed, and inside them floated shapes, things with too many limbs twitching like they wanted out. Walls scribbled with equations that looked like scripture written by a drunk priest. Dexter kept his parents blind. They thought he was playing with trains, doing homework. They never asked why the lights dimmed when he flipped switches. They never smelled the burnt copper stink after a failed experiment. They never saw the stains on his coat, red, green, black. But Dee Dee, she knew. She was the chaos in his order. She'd dance in, all smiles, knock over a vial, trip over a wire, and ruin 3 months of calculations. And every time, Dexter screamed like she'd pissed on his grave. What he never saw was that every accident saved his ass. Every broken switch, every smashed button, every oopsie kept him from finishing the monster he was building. Dee Dee wasn't clumsy. She was a fucking guardian angel in ballet slippers. Then came the night he cracked it. He'd been babbling for months about a grand unification. Not physics, existence. He built a frame taller than the house, wires and glass stitched together with more duct tape than God himself ever used. In the center hung a mirror. Not glass, liquid black, thick as tar. It didn't reflect. It showed shapes leaning back at you. Dexter stood there, gloves sparking, laughing in that guttural voice. Tonight, I will see the other side. His eyes gleamed behind the glasses, 2 little lanterns of madness. Dee Dee screamed from the top of the stairs, "Don't do it!" But Dexter just smirked, voice cracking like static. Science demands sacrifice. He touched it. The mirror rippled, and then a hand slid out, long, pale, cold, fingers sharp as scalpels. It wrapped around his arm, pulled. Dexter didn't scream. He laughed. He leaned into it like he'd been waiting. At last, he muttered, "Contact." The hand yanked harder. Dee Dee bolted down the stairs, tripped wires, sparks exploding. She smashed the console with her elbow, screens popping, alarms wailing. Dexter screamed then, not words but numbers, strings of equations, rattled like a man possessed. His body twisted, half pulled into the mirror, half thrashing in the lab. The mirror shattered, shards flying. Smoke filled the room, black as a coal mine. Dee Dee dragged herself out, coughing. When the haze cleared, the mirror was gone. The lab was sealed, just a red door, humming. The family ate dinner upstairs like nothing happened. Mom serving meatloaf, Dad reading the paper, Dee Dee silent, eyes wide. And Dexter, his chair was empty. But at night the hum came back, stronger. Dee Dee swore she heard him on the other side, laughing. A warped laugh stretched thin like a recording playing backwards. He whispered numbers that rotted your stomach just hearing them, and if you pressed your ear to the door too long, you'd feel breath on the other side. Kids in the neighborhood tell stories. They dare each other to sneak into Dexter's basement. None last more than a minute by the door. Some come out with nosebleeds. Some swear they hear their own names whispered. And one kid never came back. Parents said he moved away. Yeah, right. Dee Dee grew up fast. She painted the door over, nailed it shut, swore to never touch it. But at night she still hears her brother whispering, "Open up, Dee Dee. Science never ends." They used to call him a hero, Admiral Joseph Impeach. Medals on his chest, steel in his eyes, commander of men in a world where every decision meant life or death. The Navy gave him the name Iron Fist, because when he came down on something, it stayed down. He fought terrorists overseas, stood on carriers with the flag snapping over his head, speeches about freedom and sacrifice. Flashback, 1991, desert sands. Impeach standing over a table lit by a lantern, maps sprawled. A younger Aaron Schulte at his side, scribbling numbers, projections, supply chains. The brain back then was just a pencil pusher, but even then his mind ran like a machine. "Sir, if we move the resources this way, we could cut waste in half." Impeach looked at him, saw more than a lieutenant, saw a future partner. Another flashback, 2003, Black Ops in some jungle no map ever claimed. A soldier steps out of the muck, face caked in mud, silent as death. The men whispered about him, called him the Frog. Impeach watched the man drop 3 targets without a sound, melt back into the shadows like he was born there. That night, over a fire, Impeach said, "You ever get tired of taking orders, stick with me. We'll make real money." The Frog just nodded. That's when the shift began. Somewhere between the medals and the missions, Impeach stopped fighting wars and started selling them. He saw the value wasn't in victory, it was in blueprints, designs, secrets. He could sell tomorrow's weapons to the highest bidder, and who paid better than the mob? In Brooklyn, loyalty's currency, but money buys silence. Present day, Impeach in a back room, suit sharp, cigar smoke curling up to the ceiling. Across from him sits Nick Palermo, listening close as Iron Fist slides a folder across the table. Inside, schematics, military grade, enough firepower to turn the streets into a battlefield. Behind Impeach, the brain adjusts his glasses, numbers already running. The Frog stands quiet in the corner, eyes cold, a shadow with breath. Admiral Impeach ain't the Navy hero no more. He's a freedom fighter on paper, a weapons broker in truth. The Bureau thinks he's untouchable, the streets think he's a blessing. But Brooklyn knows, a man like that don't bring peace. He brings war. Brooklyn Bloodlines, Season 2, coming soon. And sometimes the red door pulses, harder than ever, like it's remembering the taste of blood. The moral of the story. Curiosity ain't cute, Paisane. Sometimes chaos, accidents, fuck-ups, they're the only things stopping you from cracking reality in half. You think you're building answers. What you're really doing is opening a door to something that don't want you. It wants out. And that's another nightmare from Bambi's Twisted Tales. If you liked this little science fair from hell, Do the smart thing. Subscribe, smash that fucking bell, and join the Pizzaverse. We don't build portals. We break 'em before they bite us. Thanks for watching and supporting, paisans.